20 years today, since the whole world stopped to watch Cathy Freeman light the Olympic flame in a spectacular opening ceremony at the Olympic Games in Sydney. Almost unbelievably, the year was 2000, 20 years ago. The Games were officially opened by the then Governor-General, Sir William Dean. Today, the Australian Olympic Committee celebrated the 20th anniversary of that iconic moment by relighting the Olympic cauldron at Sydney's Olympic Park. Cathy Freeman couldn't be there. She lives in Melbourne. Coronavirus restrictions. She did deliver a special message. A Paralympian and an Indigenous basketballer relit the cauldron. Welcome though that is, I'm not sure that that is fully representative of the Olympic movement. But in the light of the world we inhabit today, many would say, why stop at the cauldron? Please replay the entire Games. At the time, in 2000, our economy was in great shape. Visitors had poured in. Will they ever again? Today, when you can hardly move or speak or eat or sing or dance or be happy without some politician or official barking at you, we remember the year 2000 and the Olympics, where Sydney was the centre of the world. International travel was easy to come by, security minimal. It's appropriate, as we recollect such joy and harmony and togetherness, to wonder how we ever got to where we are today. Militant protests, fear has overtaken happiness. Uncertainty reigns where 20 years ago joy and unity would not admit divisiveness. Remember the song? I once sang it at Acer Arena with the Andre Rieu Orchestra. We are one and we are many, and from all the lands on earth we come. We'll share a dream and sing with one voice. I am, you are, we are Australian. And so we were 20 years ago. Since then, of course, we've had 9/11, terror, warfare and alarmism over climate change and a virus. The year 2000 was different. How good were the volunteers? How good was the little Nikki Webster for 6.5 minutes, soaring high above 110,000 spectators? Billions were watching us, Australia, on television. She's now a 33-year-old mother. The great Peter Freeman, perhaps the finest producer, director that this country has known, who gave us The Paul Hogan Show, Graham Kennedy, Don Lane, Bert Newton. Amongst so much award-winning television, Peter Freeman, of Crocodile Dundee fame, was the coordinating director for the opening and closing broadcasts of the Games, and those broadcasts took our country all over the world. The former US President Bill Clinton is said to have used the reconciliation theme of the Games as inspiration for his Middle East peace talks in his final months of office. Remember the North and South Korean teams side by side under the flag of the Korean Peninsula in the athletes' parade. The dream of a reunited Korea became a temporary reality at the Sydney Olympic Stadium. There were also 4 men and women dressed in white from strife-torn East Timor marching behind the Olympic flag because they didn't have a flag of their own. We had our own heroes off the track. Bob Carr, the New South Wales Premier, would never want himself to be regarded as a sporting enthusiast. He made Michael Knight the Games Minister, and what a job he did. John Coates was there from the beginning, helping to win the bid, but also contributing to the remarkable organisational and operational success of the Games. And Rod McGeoch, the man who travelled the world so many times trying to harvest votes. I'll talk to him later in the program. And then Cathy Freeman on what's become known as Magic Monday. 110,000 people in the stadium, the largest crowd ever to watch Olympic track and field. I was there. I remember it as if it were last night. Cathy Freeman wins the 400 metres in the amazing time of 49.11 seconds. The French girl Marie-Josée Pérec was to begin her quest for a third consecutive gold medal in the 400 metres. The Cathy Freeman challenge loomed large. Pérec took off from Sydney, was found at Singapore airport with a US sprinter, both of whom then boarded an Air France flight for Paris. Pérec had won the women's 400 track in Barcelona in 1992, Atlanta in 1996, where she also won the 200 metres, but the Cathy Freeman challenge was too much for the French woman. But that was not all. Michael Johnson on that same night became the first man to win consecutive Olympic 400-metre titles. The start of his final was held up for several minutes, unheard of, as Cathy Freeman did a victory lap. At the other end of the stadium, the Russian-born Australian Tatiana Grigorieva was bidding for gold in the first ever Olympic women's pole vault. The American Stacey Dragila denied her gold. Tatiana took silver. On the far side of the stadium, Great Britain's world record holder Jonathan Edwards won gold in the triple jump in his 4th Olympics. When Edwards broke the world record 5 years earlier, it was a jump more than a foot longer than anyone had ever triple jumped. But as if we hadn't overdosed on all of that on that one night, one of the greatest contests was yet to come, the men's 10,000 metres. If memory serves me, it finished close to midnight. The 10,000 metres is 25 laps of the track. Who was going to hang around for that? Well, you're a mug if you didn't, because Haile Gebrselassie is one of the greatest long-distance runners of all time. He'd won 4 world championships over 10,000 metres. He won the Berlin Marathon 4 times consecutively, an Ethiopian. That night in Sydney was beyond unbelievable. He and the Kenyan Paul Tergat went stride for stride. You've just seen that there. They entered the straight, locked together after 25 laps. The last 100 metres was the most amazing sprinting contest, sprinting for gold. Gebrselassie beat the Kenyan to win the gold by 0.09 of a second after almost 6 miles. Magic Monday indeed. Nights like this etched the image of Sydney into the minds of billions of people around the world. The excitement was intoxicating. People left the stadium together as if we were all one family, talking to one another, sharing the excitement, as if we'd been together in life forever. The party went on that night, long after the final train left Homebush Station. You had the feeling that there was no need to lock anything up. No one would vandalise anything associated with that night. On a visit to Sydney, when Sydney was preparing for the Games, the former President Bill Clinton was on a lecture tour. I shared that tour with him. We spoke together around the country. He said of the Olympics, and I quote, "I think people yearn for the Olympics today because they work pretty much like the way we think the world should work." Who could have said it better? Which prompts the thought that I've already shared. In these dark and difficult times, am I not the only one who is saying, why stop at relighting the cauldron? Please replay the entire Games again. Now more than ever, we need to recapture that spirit.